Can we start it? Yes. यस्मात् जातं जगत् सर्वं यस्मिन् एव प्रलीयते येनेदं धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ शोकामयत बहुस्यां प्रजायेति सतपोतप्यत सतपस्तप्त्वा इदगुं सर्वम् असृजत यदिदं किंच तत्सृष्ट्वा तदेवानुप्राविशत् तदनुप्रविश्य सच्चत्यच्छाभवत् निरुक्तञ्च निरुक्तञ्च निलयनञ्च निलयनञ्च विज्ञानञ्च विज्ञानञ्च सत्यञ्च नृतञ्च सत्यम् अभवत् यदिदं किंच तत्सत्यमित्याचक्षते तदप्येष श्लोको भवति। So we are still in this sixth Anuvaka. So basically, if you trace back why this Anuvaka, it was because of this question: is Brahman really exist or not? That's what some people Astikya Vada, Nastikya Vada. So Asanneva Sabhavati. Asad Brahmeti Veda Chet. One who says there is no Brahman, he will become non-existent. Like that the Shruti said. But there was this lingering doubt. That is why this whole question came. Santa Menam Vidhoriti. One who believes he is Santa and all that. So, Astiva Nava. Is Brahman really exists or it does not exist? In response to that only the Shruti is moving here. And it started talking about the creation process, how the universe is created. So we saw several 4-5 sessions we saw how the creation requires apadana, material, how the creation requires nimitta, intelligent cause and the material cause, how creation requires these two, how we found so many arguments for it. How Brahman is not just the nimitta karana, Brahman is also the apadana. And a shining example, it's very hard for us to understand it. So the shining example is the dream. We saw the dream. And in our own dream, we were the nimitta, we were the upadana, we supplied everything that was required. So we saw all that. That's why dream is a very deep psychological idea. Western psychologists did not take dream into, they sort of dismissed it. Not much they did with that. Whereas, if you look at our Vedantic discussion, phenomenal discussion on dream. Gaudapata's Karika, in Mandukya Upanishad also, solid discussion on analyzing Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. This waking state, dreaming state and deep sleep is a very profound psychological construct for our people. That's why it's easy to dismiss away dream, saying it is non-existent. But if we really inquire dream, understand this whole mechanics called dream, many things, that's why we spoke in some detail about dream in the last class. It helps us to connect to the creation process at large. So all that we did, and that way we related. Another important thing for us to remember is it is a cosmic rule that what you see in Vyashti, you will have to see it in Samashti. What you see in macrocosm, you must see it in microcosm. What you see in Anda, you must see it in Pinda. So that is why the dreaming process, creation of the world called dream, has some sort of a relationship to the creation process itself. So all that we saw in the last 2-3 classes, we saw in great detail. So far what we have seen is about the creation process in its multiple views. We just use Sokamayata Bahusyam Prajayayeti Satapo Tapyata Satapastaptva Idagum Sarvam Asrijata. So that is the creation process. Now the Shruti moves on to provide some more details in terms of this manifestation called universe. What is really happening in this so-called creation process? Because so far it is saying I am the intelligent cause and I am the apadana also. But now it is actually trying to say what is really happening in the name of the creation and all that. So that's where it moves. So it tries to characterize this world as it has been created, what are some of its things and so on. So that is what we will see now. So it says, Tat tadanu pravishya. So this Brahman said, now that it has been created, let me enter into it. Now this word, in fact one person who came last class asked this question in the previous class. This pravishya, these words are all, we have to be very, very careful. In Vedanta it's very tight. You can't loosely leave away, and the great bhashyas are written with that kind of diligence and so on. Pravishya, anupravishya it says. Now if something has to enter, if something, Brahman and all, we leave it for the moment. If something enters into something else, tat anupravishya, then immediately we can use science and bring a few arguments. The first argument is, the enterer is different from entering. There is a duality which has come now. If something has to enter, it brings several issues. One, it is dual now. It has to be dual. You can say the mosquito entered into the room. So room is now pritak. This mosquito is pritak. They are separate. So if Brahman has to enter, then the entity in which it has to enter cannot be Brahman. If you use that kind of so that such kind of technical arguments have been made. I am not getting into many of those arguments. The second argument is, if something has to enter into something else, then the second one conditions the first one in terms of, then this whole talk about Brahman is unending, Brahman is all pervading. Akshara, it's something which is not Kshara. Many of these will be questioned. So people have thoroughly analyzed all that and therefore come to a conclusion. I am not getting into those details, but therefore they have come to a conclusion that pravishya should not be taken in a literal meaning of entering. Because the moment you take a literal meaning of entering, then all these will come in. So it is a figurative usage there. Here, tat anupravishya means, here the entering is to be understood as it started manifesting itself. It starts manifesting and it stops manifesting. One way to understand in all of us is life and death. It stops manifesting, it starts manifesting. So when you say it enters, it doesn't literally enter in that sense of the term. It shows up in terms of manifestation. In fact, this was the biggest departure in the argument of the creation process. So the Vedantic argument, Vedanta and all people who have commented on the Vedanta has unequivocally, they have argued that the Indian, or not Indian, the ancient Indian conceptualization of creation process, the Vedantic interpretation of creation process is not one of creation. The Western ideology is deeply stuck because you want to create. If you want to create, then law of conservation of energy and mass, how did you get so much of infinite of energy to get this infinite mass? This is where they are stuck in the argument now. So Vedantic argument has stayed away from it. Vedantic argument says creation is again a figurative use. Nothing can be created. Nothing can be created. Then what is this creation? Creation is one of manifestation. So they say the whole creation process in our understanding is one of manifestation. Creation should not be understood the way we create a movie, create a product, create a vastu. It's not like that. Creation, particularly origin of the universe, creation of the universe, Vedantic argument, Upanishads have gone into great detail. All Upanishads have gone into Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka, everywhere it has gone into details. It says it is one of manifestation and no manifestation. Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the essence of Upanishad. So it is not surprising you see it in Bhagavad Gita also. I have taken 3 shlokas today from Bhagavad Gita to just show that. It's one of manifestation and non-manifestation. That is what. So they sidestepped a lot of problems that today's scientists are grappling with. So they bring a concept of a black hole. Nobody knows what is this black hole. I mean, it's a weird entity. We are not able to. But with that, you need Shraddha. You need Shraddha that there is something called black hole exists. If you have the Shraddha, all other can be explained now. That some infinite energy will go in, infinite energy, any light that goes in will be absorbed. These are all to sidestep a problem they started. They thought one day you can switch off and start a universe, and one day you stop it. Then how do you dispose it of? We are not able to dispose of our garbage. A civic society is not able to dispose of the garbage. Now how are you going to dispose of this beautiful universe? So what is this disposal problem then? If you have to switch it off one day. That kind of questions are there. So that's why this anupravishya means it is only a manifestation. Then what did he do? Sat cha tyat cha abhavat. Sat cha tyat cha abhavat. Sat cha tyat cha abhavat. Then it says niruktam cha aniruktam cha abhavat. That abhavat must be added to all of them. Nilayanam cha anilayanam cha abhavat. Vijnanam cha avijnanam cha abhavat. Satyam cha anrutam cha abhavat. So what it is saying is it started. So let us see each one of them. Sat, tyat. There are 2 words like this. Okay. Sat means satta, existence. From Sat you have 2. One is Sat, Sat Chit Ananda we say. That Sat. Sat is existence. Tyat is some or manifested. Existence you know only because it manifested. How do you know something existed? Because it is manifesting. That's why you say. Problems also are Sat in that sense. They manifest. Problems manifest. And then they become Asat after some time. So that is called Sat. Then Tyat. Tyat is that which doesn't manifest, which doesn't show up. Now, so this Brahman said, I will become both these. I will become things which are manifestable, manifested, but there are things which are unmanifested. I am also that. Now again the question is, what is this unmanifested and I am that? Correct? Now we need to go a little deeper to understand this. In anything that you take, I think my favorite example is computer. Computer has everything for Vedanta for me. Computer and computer terminology is enough for me to teach Vedanta. In a computer, you have a class called hardware and a class called software. There is a class of objects or assets, if you want to use a word, called hardware. This is what software professionals use the word, they say asset. There is a class of asset called software. Now in this definition, the hardware is Sat, the software is Tyat. Software is not manifested. If it is manifested, I can take 1 kilogram of software, I take one software and put it into my pocket. Or I can consume a little bit of software and then all that. But the unmanifested form also actually shows us something. Understand the subtlety of this argument. An unmanifested form shows us something, but it may not show it in material form, it may show it in an effect. So a software, the existence of a software, we all vouch for it. Not through Sat. There is no Sat there in that sense. There is a Tyat there. Means that the existence of a software is confirmed by the effect it created. Therefore, we have no difficulty in saying, if you ask me show software, you cannot show software. I can show you the working of a software. Nobody can show me a software. Even if you show a software, you are not showing a software. You are showing something which is behind something is happening, that is the software. Because you may show me a shrink wrap disk, that's not software. Or if you show me kilo code of a program written in C, that is not software. They are all required for software. The logic, some strange combination of logic is the software. That is Tyat, not Sat. This is one example. So software is Tyat according to me, hardware is Sat. Another example. You gave me 2 jalebis to eat, 2 Mysore Paks to eat. Okay? I had it. Now, that experience is Tyat. It's not Sat. But it exists. It also manifests. In a way it manifests. It's unmanifested, but it creates, it is in my world of existence. Look at this complex terminology I am using. The taste that, the feeling I had out of having a Mysore Pak is in my world of existence, but it is not Sat. You understand what I am saying? So I talk to you, you feel happy. That feeling happy is Tyat, not Sat. It exists. You will vouch for it. No, I felt happy. I felt sad. I felt good. I felt bad. All of them. So that Brahman created that world of experiences also is what he is saying. So if he doesn't say that, people think only things that you can see are only Sat. If we say I created only Sat, then we don't know where to pack all these. That's why the Upanishad is saying Sat cha, Tyat cha. So it is unmanifestable, but it is realizable. So now we have got 2 categories now. We thought unmanifestable is not there. Now I am telling you, no, there are things which are unmanifestable which are also there. The software runs. I am able to see it. The electricity is there. I am able to see it. Electricity is Tyat for me, not Sat. So that is what it is saying. It is saying that I have created the world without any discontinuity of all that you can ask for. Some of them are physically manifesting. Some of them are manifesting not in a physical word, so I cannot use the word Sat. So I use the word Tyat.
So is this different to that of Akshara and Kshara?
No, that is, need not be, because all the Tyat are all can be all Kshara. Anything which is not divine are all Ksharas. Happiness will disappear after some time. Goodness will disappear after some time. That's a different dimension.
So that's permanent and impermanent.
That's different. So Sat is the describable aspects of the differentiated world. In the world that this Brahman created, there are some which are describable. That's why I call it the hardware. The easiest example is hardware is describable. Software is, you can still describe, but you can describe not it. You can describe about it. You can't describe it. You can describe about it. So Tyat is something about which my feelings cannot be described, although we keep using the word. Sukshma and Stula in a way we can say. Although this presents a unique dimension. It is saying the world of existence need not be only physical. So from that perspective it is saying. So Agni, in the Panchabhutas, Agni, Apa and Prithvi are Sat. Akasha and Vayu are Tyat. How many of you have seen air? Even though a scientist sees, he doesn't see air, he sees the effect of oxygen somewhere. He sees the effect of nitrogen because it changes some color, therefore he comes to a conclusion it has nitrogen. He has confirmed it, that's why he thumbs the dust, there is nitrogen. He never saw nitrogen. Nobody saw oxygen. But you say if carbon dioxide is there, flames or something, you will say. You will only make inferences. That's why Akasha and Vayu are Tyat. Even in the Panchabhuta creation, Akasha and Vayu are Tyat. Whereas Agni, Apa and Prithvi are Sat. Agni we are able to see. Agni is actually, if you look at carefully, Agni is the transition between these two. Because Agni has a Tyat part and the Sat part also. The flame is the sort of Sat part. The feeling of heat, it burns. Because there are Ushna. Ushna is the Tyat part of Agni. Tejas is the Sat part of Agni. So it is the transition of this. Panchabhuta itself has a transition, as you see. There are components, the Sukshma actually, that's why it is Sukshma. In a way you are right. So from the Sukshma when you go to Stula, the Tyat will become Sat. And Agni is sitting between the two. Akasha and Vayu are Sukshma. You can only feel it. Agni is, there is a feeling part of it and there is a seeing part of it also. Then you cross over, Apa and Prithvi are Sat. So strictly I should do like that. Agni I should put somewhere in between. It has both. But all of them have both. But they are more concrete. That is the idea. So all those which are
which is beyond our human perception, we can call it as
No. Things which are in the human perception, but not in your domain of so-called objects and physicality. Of course, your happiness is in your sense of, you perceive is not necessarily seeing.
Only seeing and
feeling is also perception only. Those which are in a very material, physical.
Can we say that feeling is Tyat or?
Feeling is generally Tyat. And this seeing and more of physical are all Sat. So that's what, in fact all the opposites will come there. That's why he uses a pair of opposites. Niruktam, if he says and leave it like that, there are things which cannot be established, but they are all part of this creation. Aniruktam. So the Aniruktam part is the Tyat part. There are certain things, yes, a certain theory cannot be established today. You may establish it later, or you may destroy it later. So this is a vast kind of a classification is what I am. So the Upanishadic sentence is quite a heavy sentence. It looks like a pair of opposite. Nilayanam, Anilayanam. So that's what all those pairs of opposites are. See, Niruktam, if you simply say I am only Niruktam, there are a whole lot of things which are Aniruktam, which are passing from a stage of Niruktam to Aniruktam or Aniruktam to Niruktam. All these, where will you put it? He says, I am everything. There cannot be even a speck of gap in which you cannot see, you say there is a state of no Brahman. Then it is an imperfect definition. That's why Niruktam cha Aniruktam cha. Nilayanam cha Anilayanam, that which can be established or defined. And those which cannot be established or defined. See, some of your feeling you cannot say, but you say, I feel like something. They are all in the world of existence. In temporary, permanent is a different question. He says, I created a world of manifestation. Don't think manifestation is only physical. That's where he is coming to. Don't think manifestation is only physical. There are a whole lot of soft things in the manifestation, which are all me. I tadanu pravishya. Abhavat. The abhavat is a very, very important word again. By that word abhavat, we come to a conclusion, it is also the upadana, it is the material. I became is rather than saying I did something, I became something. If you say I did something, then there is a duality now. I created, if it said I created Sat and Tyat and leave it at that level, that means I is now different from all these. So it said Anupravishya Abhavat. So it's my own material which is now available. That's why. So the Upadana is coming by the word Abhavat. The Abhavat signifies the Upadana. So far we talked about the intelligence. So kamayata bahusyam prajayeti satapotapeta, those are all nimitta. The Abhavat says Upadana. I also, not only I thought about it, I created the material out of myself and got into it, I became like that. That's the meaning of the word Abhavat. So Niruktam, Aniruktam, Nilayanam, Anilayanam, Vijnanam, Avijnanam. There is a whole lot of Ajnana or Avijnana. Things which are not known are also me. Things which are not known today, they may be known. Because if you don't say it, then people say computer is not Brahman. So it put a disclaimer. You bring anything, I am that. You may not know it today. It's a very vast envelope with which it covers the true spirit of how divinity is pervading everywhere. This is a nice definition of law of conservation of divinity. This is the law of conservation of divinity. It says, Nilayanam, Anilayanam, Sat, Tyat, Niruktam, Aniruktam, Vijnanam, Avijnanam. Right? Satyam, Anurtam. Right? Now Satyam, Anurtam, because he is now talking about the world of creation and all that, this Satyam and Anurtam is not the Satyam and Anurtam which is the ultimate definition in Vedanta. This is a contextual definition here.
Is the expression what is expressed and what is experienced?
Which one?
The Sat and Tyat. So what is expressed is
Okay.
Sat.
That also we can say. Things which are all expressed and experienced. Okay, that's also fine. That's fine. So the Satyam and Anurtam, in this context, what it says is all that which does not fail our ordinary experience is Satyam. All that will not fail our experience is Satyam. And all that which in our ordinary experience is erroneously ascribed, the Mithya. There is a desert. There is a desert. In desert you see actually, the reflection of something. Water, the water is not there. Marichika. The Marichika. So it says that also is me. Because that kind of a universe of such existence only is showing up there. Although it is not there now. So your understanding of right, your understanding something wrongly, assuming this is what it is, all of them are pervaded by me. What is Satyam? That is all in our experience. And those which are in our experience which are not correct is the Anurtam. All in our experience which are not correct are Anurtam. The dream is not correct, but they are all part of our experience. It doesn't ascribe to any reality. So real and unreal. So that is the kind of definition here. A rope can be mistaken for a snake. Room is dimly lit. There is one thing curling a little bit on that corner, which exactly looks like a snake. Right? Now people are not able to explain this. Modern scientists are not able to explain this simple question. There is one rope there. Room is dimly lit. There is a gentle air. The door is open. There is a gentle air. So this rope is curling. Correct? Now I think it's a snake. Many of us have that experience. I think, is it a snake? Now you know what science is not able to explain? The question is, snake, how do you manufacture a snake out of a rope? This is the question now. I mean, later you found there was, how did you actually get a snake in a rope? The snake has certain properties. You are able to latch all those properties on the top of it and able to see a snake there. We have actually manufactured a snake. How did we do it? Cannot answer that question. We don't know how to answer that question. Because a rope must be a rope only. Why are you saying snake? So the snake's properties are all somehow it is called aropita. In three gunas when I talked, I explained it in great detail. On that substrata called rope, you are now able to latch a snake on the top of it and able to, actually you get fear. You get, so a rope can instill a fear in you. Logic is not able to explain this, because I got fear. So I was looking for a light was not there. I thought as a safety I will take a stick and go, which means only because of fear I take a stick and go. If I have no fear, I would have never taken a stick and gone. So that dummy object is able to manufacture a snake on it, and out of that manufactured snake, it is able to manufacture fear in you. And having manufactured the fear in you, it is able to command you to a set of actions that you will do for a real snake, and then go there. So that is the Anirtham. He says, all those are me, everything is contained. This world has everything. So that is what, all the myth experiences that we go through. At a creation level process, they say Jagat is also at this level. From our ordinary experience, we can move to the next level if you are able to progress in this journey, is what people say.
So in that case, I have a doubt. So you seeing an object, me seeing an object, need not be the same.
Yes, that is the next level of complication.
And it is always like that. And every time I see something, it might be completely different.
Yeah.
Same set of things.
Yes. No, why are you going that far? I mean, that is, leave it. I said one sentence. Okay? I said one sentence. Four of us are sitting. Actually, you come to a conclusion, this fellow is sitting. He comes to a conclusion, he is the most honest person. He comes to a conclusion, I am not very sure.
Yeah. So that with sound we are able to agree that, but with sight, somehow we have this ingrained belief that what I am seeing is exactly what this guy is going to see right now, which may not be true.
No, even with sound you can't make out. I am not very sure whether how far you can cover. A point I am trying to make is...
The sound I agree, it is different.
So that's why I am saying, each one of us are actually living in our own world.
Exactly, that's what is that true?
I have my own experience. I don't have to ask anybody. These examples are the experiences. We both don't see anything the same way. I mean, it's impossible to see the same way. Don't waste your time. Whereas lots of marriages are being broken only on the simple idea that we both have to see the same way. The day we are able to understand both of us will not see the same way, life is very, very interesting. Marriage is one part. Interpersonal relationship is different. The whole interpersonal relationship will fall flat if we are missing this point. That's what, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam. There he says kshanti. Kshanti is a beautiful value. It's a sense of accommodation. Can you accommodate the world? Because mine will be different from yours. If you can all come with a sense of accommodation, we can do many things in the world. So many of them are anrutam. That's what it is actually getting into all those details. So it says, Satyam cha anrutam cha Satyam abhavat. Here the Satyam is not the truth. Sat abhavat. It became existence for me. A non-existence also became existence for me. The rope also became existence for me. The snake also became existence for me. The whole world. In fact, this Satyam abhavat should be connected to everything. The world of existence. This Brahman, this is how it showed the world of existence. How did it show? It used Sat and Tyat. It used Nilayanam and Anilayanam. It used Niruktam and Aniruktam. It used Vijnanam and Avijnanam. It used Satyam and Anirtam. It waved all of them together and showed you this Sat, existence. Satyam abhavat. It entered into all of them, it became like that. It manifested itself in these so many ways. So it is talking about the manifestation. It is saying it has manifested in all these 6 dimensions. 6 pairs of opposites are put here. In these dimensions it entered into and it manifested, and that is the world you and I experience. Our world of experience is only this much. I mean, each one of us, both of us will not be the same. That's why all these are coming. Our world of experiences can be summarized with this shloka. Our world of experience is nothing but Sat and Tyat, nothing but Niruktam and Aniruktam, nothing but Nilayanam and Anilayanam, nothing but Vijnanam and Avijnanam, nothing but Satyam and Anirtam. And for each one of us it is unique. So that is the world it is describing. And it says, I became like that and then I am manifesting like that. So the Satyam here is the Sat, existence, not the truth.
What is the
exact literal meaning of niruktam or niruktam?
See, uktam is said. So you have upasarga niruktam. Nir is the upasarga. So niruktam is one which can be firmly described and unwaveringly established. That's why define is the word I put. So nirukta is something which can be concisely, correctly established. That's why in the five upangas, Veda upangas, if you have first class of Taittiriya Upanishad, I showed it actually. The big triangle in which if you have to learn Veda and make sense of ancient Indian wisdom, you need Vyakarana, grammar, Chandas, okay? Because the meter and all that, if you don't know, you can't know how to break and all that. Nirukta was the third. This is etymology for the Vedic words. So that Nirukta is also the Yaska. Yaska is the author of Nirukta. So even that, what is the meaning? It says it firmly helps us establish the meaning of words in the Vedic literature. And Jyotisha is required because Jyotisha is not for, you will get married next month, never used for that. Jyotisha is to make a sense of time and do a lot of things with time. That's why Jyotisha. And so 5, 6 are there. I'm, it's not just missing my, Siksha. First it is Siksha. Siksha is the phonetic. Siksha, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas, Jyotisha, Alankara or something like that. There are 6. These are upangas. Without that, so in that sense, so the meaning of that Nirukta is the same, which helps us to unambiguously, firmly establish something, define it or whatever. Sometimes we are unable to, all are the world of experience for us. So it describes all that. Tadapyesha shlok, and then it says, Edidam kincha, whatsoever. You don't leave a gap. Wherever you see the subatomic particle level also you go, you will find these 5 pairs of opposites, and that's what the world of existence is. And the Brahman said, I became like that. Satyam abhavat. The final Satyam abhavat is, this is the essence of existence that you see in the so-called creation. Creation is not confined to anything physical. Most of our scientific creation is all worried about the physical part of it. This is a very wide set. It has covered everything into the creation process. So all that is the Satyam. Then it's Edidam Kincha. Whatsoever you can see will fit into this description. Tat Satyam iti achakshate. That is indeed called existence. That is indeed called, people should understand that as the real existence, manifestation. Tat Satyam iti achakshate. Tat Satyam ityachakshate. Tadapi esha shlokaha bhavati. Whenever it says Tadapi esha sloko bhavati, it is a Rigvedic quote. Throughout Brahmanandavali you will see Tadapi esha sloko bhavati. Then it quotes from Rigveda. And the quote ends with iti. Iti is the end of the quotation mark. So immediately in the next mantra you will find something, it will say, and iti it will finish. So up to that is the Rigvedic quote. So here it says, this is what Taittiriya Upanishad describes, the Shruti describes. And then he says, Tadapi, even this also is Esha Shloko Bhavati. In the Rigveda it is available. I will show you. That's how the whole Brahmanandavali is like that. Tadapi Esha Shloko Bhavati. So we'll move to the 7th Anuvaka. This is 6th Anuvaka. We'll move to the 7th Anuvaka. Asadva idamagra asit tato vai sadajayata tadatmanag swayama kurta tasmat tat sukruta muchyata iti yadvai tat sukrutam raso vaisaha rasaghyevayam labdvanandi bhavati kohyevanyat kah pranyat yadesha akasha anando nasyat yesha hyevanandayati yada hyevaisha yedasmin adrisyenatmye nirukte nilayane bhayam pratishtam vindate ataso bhayangato bhavati yada hyevaisha etasmin udaramantaram kurute atatasya bhayam bhavati tatveva bhayam vidusho manvanasya tadapyesha shloko bhavati. This is a beautiful passage where it talks about when we get fear and when we don't get fear. Adatasya bhayam ataha saha abhayam gato bhavati. Then a little later it says atatasya bhayam bhavati. Then he got fear. Our psychology is there actually. Why we get fear and all is that part of this Anuvaka. Anyway, it's a nice Anuvaka. Beautiful Anuvaka. Anyway, so we will see the first few mantras of it. The Rigvedic quote alone we will see. Iti, if you just see, it stopped by saying Tasmat Sat Sukruta Muchyata Iti. That Iti is end of the quote. So the Tadapyesha Shloka Bhavati it said. So this is the quote from Rigveda. The quote is Asadva Idamagra Asit Tato Vai Sadajayata Tatatmanag Swayama Kurta Tasmat Tat Sukrutam Iti Uchyate Iti. That's how it actually ends. We'll see this part.
What is that symbol?
Which symbol?
Tadatmanam.
I explain. See, in Yajurveda, this is Yajurveda. Taittiriya Upanishad is a very important part of Taittiriya Aranyaka. Taittiriya Aranyaka is a central 10 chapters, very celebrated, very good chapters on Krishna Yajurveda. Okay? So this is a Yajurveda mantra. In Yajurveda, Yim will become Gum. That's the practice. So it is, if the same mantra had been in Rigveda, you would have said Tadatmanam. That's how we would have said. In Yajurveda, we say Tadatmanagas, Tadatmanagas. Gum, Gus, all these, it depends on the next. So Im is Gum, and if the Sakara comes after that, it becomes Gus. So it's a special symbol to communicate that. Because it's a sound. It's not like Om. Om is a sound. Om is not a lipi. Om is a sound. So we created a special kind of a lipi. There is no lipi. This is also a sound. So this indicates Gum or Gus depending upon how it comes in the text. Im is pronounced in a Yajurvedic recital like this. Asadva idamagra asit. Agre asadeva asit. Idam. This one is all Napumsaka Linga. Because there is no feminine or masculine. It is a Brahman is a concept. Idam agre asadeva asit. It was asat. Sat is existence. So it says agre, initially it was asat. That's what it says. Asat va idam agre asit. At the very beginning, agre, ahead. No beginning and all we can't talk. Ahead of what we see today, what we have to imply is, we are seeing a world now, the way it described. It says, before you saw it, what was there? That was the question. It said before that. That's why it said agre. It never said ado. Because there is no beginning, and the moment you get into beginning, you will be in trouble. Where did this energy come from? Where did it will go? So our creation process is no beginning, no end. This is Anadi Ananta. That's why Anadi and Ananta is our framework. So it never said Adav. It said Idam Agra Asit. What you are seeing now, before that it was Asat. Asatva Idam Agra Asit. Tataha, from that, why indeed? So indeed, from that state of no manifestation, Asat is no manifestation. From that state of an unmanifested state, Tataha, why indeed? Sat Ajayata. The so-called Sat that we are seeing, it came out of that unmanifested state. So that's what it is saying now. It says, Asadva idamagra asit, Tataha, why indeed? Sat Ajayata. The so-called manifestation showed up. So it's just showing up. That's all. It is just showing up. Tata Atmanam Swayam Akuruta. So it also created, in its own way, it created this whole body of this existence. The so-called body of existence, it created by itself that entity, which was an in a state of no manifestation. Tasmat, because of this is a great act. Because it is not done by the Brahman. It is done of the Brahman himself. If you say so and so did, that means so and so did something else. So and so did himself means it did itself. So that kind of a thing. Because it did itself, tasmat, for that reason, that cosmic force, right? Sukritam uchyate. Sukritam means swayam kritam or samichinataya kritam. Either very well done or done on its own. Both the meanings are there. The frequent meaning is done on its own because it's all talking about that creation process. So that is a prominent meaning many people give. Some people also say well made. Self-made or well made. So this quote it has pulled from. Now this is again a very nice understanding in our scheme of things. This whole chakra of manifestation and unmanifestation. Then people ask, how can something manifest and how can something unmanifest? These kinds of questions come. We have enough experience to understand it. What I will do is, let us say, I will bring one tiny little seed of a banyan tree or a neem tree or something. Now in this little seed, do you know what exists? In this little seed was that banyan tree which still living for 695 years in Calcutta's Botanical Garden, germinated with one leaf and two buds, some 695 years back. Or in that tiny little seed was that 2600-year-old tree which they are preserving in Anuradhapura in Sri Lanka. I went and saw. In Sri Lanka, Anuradhapura, when Ashoka got his daughter married, he gave a Gaya tree, Bodhi tree, that Pipal tree, Ashwatha Vriksha. They say they are still maintaining it. They say they are still maintaining it. The tree span is probably a couple of acres, I think. In Anuradhapura, I went and saw. So that tree was here. Not only that, look at, these are all nature which we have to reflect on. Look, not only that. So first of all, now if you show a seed, is there a tree there? Our scientific thinking says there is no tree. I don't see a tree. Where is the tree? It is asat. It is not sat. You can't show me a tiny tree, little bit of seed. Ask, do you see it? Is there a tree here? You will say no, there is no tree there. Not only that, if I give you a lump of clay, you will see only clay there. But the lump of clay actually is having a clay world in it. Who knows, tomorrow it will become a pot, or it will become a terracotta horse, or it will become a teacup, or it will become a flower vase, or something. They are all there. They are all there in that clay world. And that is the charm of Vibhuti Yoga. That is the charm of Vishwarupa Darshana. Vishwarupa Darshana is just, Vishwarupa Darshana, Sukshmartha is only this. Krishna just showed myself and said everything is inside, you will have to see it. So in movies they really literally show something like that. It's not meant like that. You should be able to see all unmanifested form in a different kind of a manifestation. We have crossed all our limitations in life. That is what it is actually. So this seed is not only a future manifestation of a tree. Now what will happen? This seed, if you extend this logic infinitely, what will happen is this seed will make one tree first. Of course, one seed will make one tree. That I am not saying going to say one seed is going to make 1,000 trees out of it. Although I am told if you cut an amoeba into two, it will be two amoebas. It's not with half the life. Both of them are full lives. Cut another 4 pieces out of them, 8 amoebas are full life. So in seed we are not talking that. This one seed will become one, let's say, banyan tree or whatever. That tree will shed 10,000 seeds every year after it comes of age. It will shed 10,000 trees every year. It's not even once in their lifetime. I am talking every year. And those 10,000 seeds, correct, will become 10,000 trees. It's actually a geometric progression of a very high order. Unless we get in and cut all the trees, which is what we are doing actually. It's a geometric progression. One tree will get you 10,000 trees per annum, and the 10,000 trees now go on like this. They are all here. This is the idea here. So when it says Satyeva idam agra asit, it talks about the potentiality. It says God is nothing but a potential cause. Brahman is not, you bring two material in a lab and then pour it and then color changes, you shake it and then you dry it some solid. It's not that way. It is a bundle of potential. And that potential is asat. Potential is not sat, it is asat. That is what it is saying. Asatva idam agra asit. That's what it is saying. Now there is this. Huh?
Asat means
So
unreal.
let me skip. Yeah, since you came to that, Nasadiya Suttam is so beautiful, I'll come to it. But since you asked, let's go there. Can you take 4 slides later? Huh? Okay. Now, Asadva idam agra asit. Now I have introduced 4 terminologies here. Because for us, otherwise we are all scientific people actually. We are trained in a particular way. Our paradigm is trained in a particular way. So there are 4 words I have used here. Not that. Use the word not that. And what do we understand are unreal. I think unreal may be a better word. Unreal. What is unreal? Unreal to a large extent, our understanding of unreal is whatever we cannot experience at all. And what do you need for experience? You need Pancha Bhutas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Tanmatras, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. 24 elements are required. Inside and outside. Not only inside. So the collective word is called Kshetram. In Bhagavad Gita, that's why he used the word Kshetram. The physical world is called Kshetram, which includes your body also. Your Buddhi, your Chitta, Ahankara are all Kshetram. It's a Kshetrajna. Different from this. So you need Kshetram. Anything which is into the domain of Kshetram is there. Anything which is not in the domain of Kshetram, we say not there. Unreal. This is one definition we use. This is how science starts only with the paradigm. Anything which is not there, they say it's not there. They put it into another department called meta-science or mythology. It's a separate department. I mean, it's a paradigm. They have taken a certain paradigm, so it is a scientific paradigm. Anything which is not verifiable, measurable, experienceable is not there. Don't waste your time. When you discover it, we'll come to it that day, one day. Like that. So that is unreal or not there. Then existent, which is whatever is available to us. When I say available to me, it must be available for transaction. If something is not available for transaction, it is not there. For example, you are sitting on $1 million. I am actually not even having 1 paisa for food. Your fortune is not there for me. It is not available for my transaction. So it is not there. That's all. Not there is what is not available for transaction. Very wide. So there is something which is available for transaction. This is how we understand existent. Sat. This is a sat we normally understand. Okay. Then non-existent. What is not available for transaction at all. Simply. That which is not available for transaction is asat. Non-existent. This is not what we think. But I will introduce this another concept called potentially existent. That's where I showed one seed and I talked about its potential existence. I mean, it's an infinite power. It's infinite power in a small seed. I mean, it's God. You do all your, just think about this possibility. I will put one seed and seed starts growing. Prithvi Sashya Shalini, that's why Prithvi Sashya Shalini grows. And then you get a log. You just use your simple energy economics, find out to solidify a piece into a rock of this mechanical and this structural properties and strength, how much energy required. Just calculate all these, come to trillions of calories even for a tree, for a 100-year-old tree. Anyway, so now this seed is shedding on a geometric progression. And in the geometric progression, it is manufacturing energy year after year after year, minute after minute after minute. How can you say, I mean, so you have to see it as, that is our divinity according to me. Divinity is not some photo and smoke out of which some chakra comes, it's not. This is divinity. What else is divinity? Please tell me. This is divinity. That is what he is saying. So everything is divine because it is infinite. And the interesting part is the mother tree's child tree in Virya, no way it is less. Because it shed 1,000 seeds, doesn't mean its vitality is 1 by 1,000. Vitality is same. You put thousands and in geometric progression, vitality does not reduce. Which science is going to explain that? Which science it is fitting into? It is not. That vitality is the divinity. The divine, that's what he's saying. That is how I have now penetrated into everything. Otherwise this is not possible. Who is supplying this infinite energy? I don't understand. I mean, you can use chemistry and all that. You say molecule. Who created molecule? Then I will ask. Then you will say something. I say he discovered it. He didn't create. He discovered. Who? What is all this? We have no idea. So there is a potentially existent is another possibility. That is what is currently not available. So asat is not non-existent. Why I am telling all this? In this definition, asat is not non-existent. Asat actually means potentially existent, which means it is not available at the kshetram now. It is not available at the kshetram now, but it is there. That is the meaning of asat in Vedanta. Sat and asat is not real and unreal. Asat is not unreal. Asat is it is not showing up now. That infinite energy is now hibernating itself. It is just hibernating. One day it will open up. That is the meaning of it. So that's why not there is not the same as non-existent. Rule 1. Not there and non-existent cannot use again for everything you can quote Bhagavad Gita. In chapter 2 there is a nice shloka. Na sato vidyate bhavaha na abhavo vidyate satah. What a profound statement. Na asato vidyate bhavaha. If something is asat, there cannot be bhava in it. The bhava is this manifestation of divinity. That attitude and bhava and that its manifestation actually. So nasate vidyato bhavaha na abhavo vidyate satah. Sat. So if you somehow bring and say this is abhava, then he simply says then it is asat. He makes generic statement. Ubayorapi drishtantah anayoho tattvadarshibhihi. One who is able to see this difference is a tattvadarshi. Tattva means tat padarthasya arthasya avagamanam. Darshanam. He has seen through the game. That is the meaning. Tattvadarshi is one who has seen through the game. So non-existent is not the same as not there. Not there is not the same as potentially existent. Because in our normal scheme of things, potentially existent are all not there. I am only seeing a seed. I am not seeing the geometric progression of trees in this. So for us, it is tree is not there. You ask tree is there? No, not there. Tree is not there. Potentially existent is not there, but of a different variety. So that's what it is. And non-existent can become existent because of this property of potentially existent. So I am now introducing a term in between the two. Otherwise you cannot explain. Otherwise it will become actually Indrajal. So it is not. What we are saying is, we use the word real, unreal and all that. Real can be used for a cup of juice or something. It is not that. Real, unreal is not the argument. The argument is manifestation, unmanifestation. Unmanifestation is not non-existent. It is potential existence hibernating. That is how the whole creation is explained. So those are all Sadeva Agra Asit. It's a famous Chandogya Upanishad. Sadeva Saumya Idam Agra Asit. Tattvamasi Swetaketu. That sloka it comes. Sadeva Saumya Idam Agra Asit. Sarvam Mrinmayam, all beautiful. Vacharambanam, Namadeyam. Like that, there is a nice mantra. It comes there. So what we are talking about is a different way of understanding this word existent and non-existent. There is nothing like non-existence. It is manifestation and unmanifestation. And then if you ask how can it go between the two, that's where we bring the concept of potentially existent. The potential is the divinity. In And energy also, they say potential energy becomes kinetic energy and all that. They are also, sort of saying the same thing in a way. Potential is something which is not existent now. It can become existent, it can choose to become non-existent later also. That is our meaning of asat. Because asat is understood, some of the translation, asat is non-existent. Then I say, what is all this here? Some Indrajal comics, they say it is non-existent, suddenly they say it is existent. Like that we will get into. So the sat and asat are not those English translations. The transition is because of this potentially existing as a possibility. That provides an explanatory power to a creation process which has sidestepped a lot of problems that we have faced today. That's why we are a little stuck. We don't know how to go because we started with a certain paradigm. Now on the edge we have a problem. See, the creation process on the periphery is the problem. In the interior, no problem. Moment you go to the periphery, you have a problem. Because the starting condition and the stopping condition cannot be explained. Because you are now wanting to start and stop the engine. So our rishis they said no, there is nothing like starting and stopping because that's very illogical. It is hibernating and showing up. That kind of so that's what it is coming. We will continue it in the next class. Thank you.
So in a way it's tyat only, which you're saying.
In another form of tyat. Yeah. Although that references are all for it's not strictly you should call it as tyat because sat and tyat are for the terminologies for the manifestation itself. There are some unmanifested things which are manifesting. That way. So you can't simply use it that way. Okay.